Welcome back, Helldivers. A new Warbond trailer just dropped yesterday, and the anticipation is rising even as we are losing the current major order. And this Warbond, the Python Commandos, looks absolutely amazing from the drip side. However, the weapons may or may not be as good as we are hoping for them to be. Today, I'll be breaking down completely all the data that we know so far about the Warbond. And then I will also go into some theories about what may also be coming in this next patch on December 2nd. Starting off, the cinematic feel of this trailer was just flooring. It was amazing with the new paint scheme on the FRV with the nice chameleon force camo look on it as it comes flying over the hill. And this Warbond is completely focused on jungle biome planets, which you have the jungles, you have the swamps or the foggy swamps, which is similar to the swamp biome on Nublaria 1, the planet closest to the Meridia Singularity, which I'll cover that a little bit more later. Next, we get a quick glimpse of the new primary, the 1-2, the Maxigun, and the light and heavy armors with some back-to-back action real quick. And man, is the drip just amazing on these things, and they do have a pretty good passive to go along with them. We finally get our first look at the Maxigun in action, and the fire rate is completely insane on this thing. We don't have information on the ammo count or the exact fire rate, but it does appear to be faster than what the Stalwart fires at. It does feel like it's almost on par with the Knight. However, I haven't looked at them side by side yet to really compare. Then we get a cut to the newest melee weapon, the new defoliage tool chopping up bugs. It looks like it is one-shotting a warrior, which has a main health pool of 250 HP and no armor, which means it does more damage than any of the other melee weapons in the game right now. And we get another shot of the Maxigun here in action with the Beast of Prey heavy armor, which that passive is the rock solid passive, which means more resistance to staggering and ragdolling attacks, which is absolutely phenomenal for the bot sector. And I feel, at least for me on bugs with the bile spewer seeds, those things seem to ragdoll me all the way across the map. Now, the Maxigun has been confirmed to be a medium penetration support weapon, and it can be resupplied. There is no reload animation to go along with that, but it will take multiple supply packs to restock your Maxigun in action. Now, it will take up your support and backpack slots, and it does seem like you have to be stationary while you are firing. All the clips of it, it seems like you're in some kind of crouch, which tells me that there's going to be a small spin-up period right as you get into a stance, as the weapon starts to rotate and gets going. So it might be like a half-second delay. We'll have to see exactly what that's going to look like, because any of the clips here in the trailer just showed the weapon already being fired. Now, next up is that RS-20 Constrictor, which again has that same Rocksteady armor passive, and there is going to be another armor set that is in the Superstore upon release. However, we don't have any images of that or any other information on it right now as to how much it's going to cost. If there are any additional weapons, capes, whatever it may be in the Superstore, that information has also not been released quite yet. Hopefully we'll get some more info before it actually drops next Tuesday. And next, we see an amazing diving kill with the defoliation tool, basically one-shotting a couple buffs. Notably a Brood Commander. I don't think this was an actual one-shot. I think it was more like it was one attack that's constantly going with that chainsaw, and it hit multiple body parts, because we did not see the head explode on that commander, which means it did not go into berserk state. That tells me that it hit multiple times in that one swing. And it does seem like you can grind on the enemies, because it is confirmed to start with medium penetration and then it'll move up to heavy pen as you continue to grind on a single target. But again, we don't have any solid information as to what that damage looks like. I'm suspecting it's going to be around that 250 if it is indeed one-shotting a bug that wasn't hit by something else before. Now, one thing that was not shown from this weapon was actually using it to defoliate anything, which might be useful on those jungle-type biomes instead of using your eagles to inadvertently liberate some planets of their vegetation. Next up is the primary weapon, the AR-GL21 1-2, as in a 1-2 punch. The damage is said to be between the Adjudicator and Halo rifles, so that means either 90 or 95 damage, but it is confirmed to be a light pen for the ammunition, with a grenade pistol ammunition basically for the grenade launcher itself, so it will have medium penetration on that. So it's still pretty decent at clearing out groups of smaller enemies with that grenade launcher. You will have to toggle it, obviously, by holding down your reload button, and then you'll be able to swap. And looking at that reload on the trailer, it doesn't seem like there's any options to change the fire mode on your weapon, so it looks like it's always going to be automatic. There's no burst or semi-automatic options available. Now, they didn't give any information yet as to the ammo or the fire rate on it, but it does seem to fall somewhere in between the Liberator and the Liberator Concussive for that fire rate from looking at the trailer, the brief moments that we do see it firing. For the grenade launcher underbarrel, it was said that you will have one in the chamber plus 4 reserves. It was not said if that was with siege ready or not. I'm assuming that is without siege ready. So we'll have to see how many more reserve ammo you will get with your siege ready passive. And it also seems to be following a very similar arc to the grenade pistol as well. But again, we'll have to test that out once we actually get our hands on the Warbond next week. Finally, we got another stratagem that people have been asking about. And Arrowhead, of course, paid some fan service here and called it the hot dog. You basically have a torture strapped to your guard dog now instead of your Liberator. Hopefully, it's following the same kind of AI, upgraded AI, that is on the gas guard dog, so it's not going to be burning you to a crisp as it's killing things. Hopefully it flies away a little bit and burns things a little bit further away from you, gives you some time to figure out which ones you actually need to shoot to finish them off, or you can just let the fire obviously finish them off. But this is absolutely fantastic, and I love that they called it the hot dog out of all things. Now, one thing that Arrowhead needs to get on as soon as possible is giving us more options on the emote wheel, right? The one-handed push-ups, aptly named the forward-leaning rest position, as many in the military will call it. It is just another fantastic drip emote, especially if you're putting in all the work. That way you can just brag on your teammates, showing at the end that you are the one doing everything, saving their butts left and right across that map. Just another great addition to the drip factor in this Warbond. The capes also look amazing, and the camo schemes for your mech, FRV, and drop pods also look absolutely wonderful. I don't know if I'll be swapping to them myself, because I do like the Force of Law ones really well, and I think I'm going to be sticking with those until I do get these unlocked. Now, altogether, it does look like a fantastic Warbond. However, the medal counts are probably going to be somewhere in that 600 to 700 total to fully unlock. And I would expect the Maxigun to be on page 3. And that stratagem itself will probably be 110 medals, which means you'll need about 400 to 450 to completely unlock the Maxigun. So you need to start stocking up on your medals over the next week. Unfortunately, still that 250 cap. Hopefully they will raise that sometime in the future. Now, looking forward at the end screen of the trailer, there was a couple things that I noticed in there. One is obviously still the jungle biome, since it is a jungle themed Warbond, but you can see what appear to be very briefly a couple voteless in the background, and you can still see them in the foreground in the bottom right, showing that it's fighting some Illuminate in jungle planets, which there are very few of them from looking at the war map. Now, next to the voteless in the background, if you do pause the video, it looks to be some sort of ruins. I was trying to figure out, is this something from Super Earth? It does not seem like it from any of the crests that I've seen, and there are multiple across multiple different sources for what the Super Earth logo looks like, because at least the Helldivers 2 Super Earth is centered on Sweden, and you don't really see like the southern tip of Africa, which is kind of what it looked like here in the top right. It does feel very Illuminate heavy, like Illuminate ruins type thing, which if you do remember a couple months ago at the beginning of October, we did have a defensive Hellmire kind of as a secondary part of that major order, but it just was always there. We had to liberate 3 planets from the Illuminate. That was Zia Ragosia, Herthon Secundus, and Alart 3. To prevent them from using ancient ruins to bring back some technology. We did successfully recapture all 3, but during this major order, we've already saw the recapture of Zia Ragosia by the Illuminates. Herthon Secundus is currently under attack, and we are likely going to fail that defense mission, which would put Alert 3 if it is an invasion force moving through. will be the next one in line to fall. Just kind of tying that loot back together. And somebody in Discord by the username of Blub indicated a few days ago that they saw the Meridian Singularity moving and then stopped after a little bit. I know I'm going to keep a close eye on it, but what I found really interesting was Mitchimus did respond to it with a looking up meme. So I don't know if it actually moved or not, but I'm definitely going to be checking on it whenever I have the chance. Now, Major Truth has also reappeared over on Twitter. You can find him at @major_truth_. Seeing he's posting at about 11:30 every day. At first, it seemed like they rehabilitated him and he was a changed person following Super Earth's ideology. But his second tweet really makes it sound like he wants to get back underground and uncovering some of the lies that Super Earth is trying to cover up. So I'm sure there will be more to follow over the next week. I really suspect December 2nd is going to have a bunch of additional stuff tied into it besides just this Warbond. Now, Warbonds don't mean that we're going to be fighting strictly on jungle planets or jungle planets going to be the main focus. But the one thing, like I mentioned earlier, that is very interesting, the closest jungle planet to the Meridian Singularity is Nublaria 1. Right, that would have been right in the path of the Great Host that came out of the Meridian Singularity that stopped their way all the way to Super Earth and started that invasion on Super Earth. But they did skip over Nublaria 1 and went straight to Widow's Harbor first, where we were having a massive party about eliminating the Illuminate from our galaxy. So it might, maybe there are some ties there. Maybe I'm stretching at grasping at straws here, not really sure, but it really feels like with everything tying together, Illuminates kind of in the background of some of the imagery in the Warbond trailer, plus Major Truth popping back up, it really feels like we are going towards an Illuminate heavy story arc moving forward. Now, they have said that December is going to be a very busy month for them. They are working on, Arrowhead themselves are working on a couple other projects, obviously with an unnamed title that they are working on separately, now that they have made themselves enough money that they can kind of work independent from PlayStation and Sony on their own kind of products that they want to work on. They did say there is no major title update planned to drop alongside the Warbond, but that doesn't mean that the rest of December is not fair game. The Illuminate were announced and launched into the game at the Game Awards last year, which was on 12 December. The Game Awards this year are on 11 December. And by the way, Helldivers 2 is up for 2 categories that I've seen. They're up for Best Ongoing and Best Community Support categories. I know there's some mixed feelings out there. I am still absolutely in love with this game. So I definitely threw my votes in the hat for these guys because I'm not playing any of those other ones that are up in those categories against them. But if you wanted to vote for it, just go ahead and do a quick Google search for the Game Awards. That is happening on 11 December. So it's still a few weeks away from now. And it will be a Thursday, not a typical Tuesday patch. But Thursdays sometimes are a little significant. A lot of Warbonds tend to drop on Thursdays, but this one obviously on a Tuesday. So we'll have to see what's actually going to happen throughout the rest of this month in preps for the holidays and possibly another surge of brand new divers coming in on Christmas Day. That's all I have for today with my absolutely crazy theories that are going on here in the game. I am looking forward to this Warbond next week. I'm definitely going to be farming some super credits this weekend to try to get ready for it because I'm definitely low as I'm working my way to the superstore. But if you like this content, please hit that like and subscribe, and I will see you on the War Fun, Helldivers.